Yesterday, people showed up in ways that I definitely I didn't expect. At least not from day one. Having someone saying, waking up 3 hours behind, and instead of going into the mode of being anxious or overwhelmed, they sat in that silence. They were able to form a game plan. And that's exactly what this practice is supposed to do. Being able to come back to yourself. Being able to sit with just this moment, just this exact moment that you have right now. Because I'm not sure if you realize, this could be your last moment. This could be the only moment that you have left. How would you want to actually spend your life? Another person saying that somebody else was waking them up and sitting in the silence for the first time and seeing the scattered thoughts, seeing the scattered brain. And I feel like a lot of us go through that. I feel like a lot of us have so much in our minds all at once that it's hard to focus. It's hard to just sit there. It's hard to just hear the quiet. Because even in that silence is when things get pretty loud as well. Having another person, fighting the urge to go back to bed. And that is one of the biggest battles that I had starting out. But it's a habit worth fighting for. Having your phone in another room that forces you to get up, that forces you to get up and start moving. But it's that battle of, do I now go back into the comfort that I was in? Or do I try to do something a little bit different that I know could be beneficial for my life, that I know could be beneficial for my day, at least in this moment? What am I willing to choose? What am I willing to endure for my life? And hearing that they gain more awareness of the present moment is something phenomenal. And it's something that I would love for everyone to be able to experience. Personally, to see that for these couple people that responded does, of course, make me feel good. It does bring some warmth to me to know that this stuff really does, help. You do get to learn and experience so much, even in just 5 minutes. It may seem like the longest 5 minutes of your life. But it only feels like that just because it's new. It only feels like that just because it's uncomfortable. Because I guarantee you could easily do 5 minutes working out. You can easily do 5 minutes editing videos. You can easily do 5 minutes working your job, whatever creative thing that you're wanting to do, whatever things you're wanting to occupy your mind in and fill up the space in, you could easily do 5 minutes. But just sitting down and doing nothing is probably one of the hardest 5 minutes you'll do. Something that I noticed out of these responses that had a lot of similarities were the fact of being able to come back to that present moment. Come back to the moment of where you are right now. And that is the whole intention behind all of this. With all of the emotions that run through your days, with all of the feelings that you're going through, with all of the stressors, all of the worries, all of the anxieties that are happening, that are stacking up day after day after day, that are now showing itself to you, sitting in the quiet. You're now able to think through that. You're now able to let those things go. You're now able to fully experience those things so you don't have to continue to hold on to them. Coming back to that present moment is something that you could do at any moment. 5 minutes. You could do this at any point in your day. It's definitely so helpful to start your day off on it because it starts your day on a different note. But now imagine going through your day. You get to about noon, maybe 1 o'clock. Your coworkers are making you mad. You're watching some content that's really frustrating you. You're doing some task that's not going your way. Family's frustrating you. You may have some issues, maybe with a significant other. Something may be going on that's occupying your mind, that's filling you up with an emotion that you know you don't want to be in, whether that be anger, whether that be frustration, whether that be fear, whether that be some type of anxiety. I want you to realize now that you have that power to sit with 5 minutes. To just come back to that, to this very present moment. Like all of this stuff happening and all of these thoughts that people are having that are all seeming pretty similar, like that's not a coincidence. Like all of this stuff starts happening when you stop reacting to things, reacting to everything that's happening externally, and you just start observing what's going on. You just start to notice it. You just start to be aware of it. Wow, this is what it's like to feel this type of anger. Why am I this angry? We try to spend so much time distracting ourselves, whether that be partying, sometimes for some people, whether that's drinking, or if that's people like you guys, and working out. Filling some type of time with something that you feel is productive. To distract yourself from what things that you're actually feeling. So, the difference between day 1 and day 2 is just allowing you to be more aware. It's just allowing you to question the thoughts that you are having. To observe the thoughts that you're having. I just want you to see it. I don't want you to judge them. I don't want you to think that any of these thoughts are good or bad, that they're right or wrong. Just notice that you are having these thoughts. Just notice that you are having these things running through your mind. And start to be aware of them. Take note of them. And notice on your moment of stillness that this is all okay to be had. These thoughts are okay to be had. Let's just notice them. I want you to know it's very important not to try to answer the question, not to try to fix anything. That's not the goal. Don't put that type of pressure on yourself right now. Because this is your first go around with this. This is your first time with this. Have some grace. Have some patience with yourself. You're so young. You're not going to have it all figured out. And that's okay. The point of all this is not to solve anything this week. I just want you to start seeing things in a different manner, seeing things in a different light. Now for me, some of the things that kept surfacing in my mind. I started to notice a lot more emptiness lately. And I know I talked about it in the last video of observing more of the quiet externally now. Before, everything in my life was very, very hectic. I always had something on my mind. I always wanted to just make it. I've seen everybody on social media making money. You can make so much money. Finding all of these ways. And I remember when I was starting out, it was always the form of hustling. You gotta make all of these amounts of videos. You can crank all of this amount of volume. You can do all of these things as well as being in school, as well as working, as well as trying to make friends, as well as trying to navigate a new city. There was so much happening. There were things happening with family. And I felt like I couldn't catch a break. I was losing money when I was really trying to make money. I was having turmoil in relationships when I really wanted to grow them. I was causing more chaos into my life when I knew I wanted peace into my life. I was living my life more out of fear and out of lack, rather than just living in the bliss of knowing that I have all of these things. These things are all around me. The money is here, The relationships are already molding. They don't have to be perfect, We try to make this image in our mind and this video in our mind about how perfect things need to be. And they have to be this exact way. When in reality, they don't. The universe is going to carry on. God is going to guide you through every single up and down. And I want to tell you that it will all be okay. When you start to let go and detach from the expectations of how perfect things need to be, and you just be, it changes up everything for you. So that silence for me, that emptiness for me, has now all just felt like a fresh start. Like this is a blank page that we get to start from. And I get to create the story. I have the power to choose what is in my mind. Choose what I want to focus my energy towards. And so that tells to me where my energy is right now is pouring all into giving back. It's pouring all into some form of giving love. Love is not going to look the same for everybody, But that feeling, that emotion that you feel will feel the same. And so that emptiness, I try to fill with just giving back. So something that I would like to know is, what was something that kept surfacing for you? What was one thing that kept surfacing for you? All of this stuff that I'm sharing with you, I'm not telling you to overshare anything. I'm telling you because whatever came up for you this morning is trying to tell you something too. I feel like most people's minds will gravitate to something, and it may be some type of worry, some type of fear, something that is making you anxious this morning or through your days. Maybe it's out of lack of something. You don't have that job. You don't have the right amount of money for these things. You may not have the right relationships that are around you. You may feel lonely. All of those things may be out of lack of something. I want you to start being more aware of what you do have around you. Who are the people you are associating yourself with on a day-to-day? What things are you doing? What things are you focusing your mind on? Are you focusing your mind more on bills, or